Let's keep people apprised as to what's happened in terms of really familiar names switching uniforms.
Isiah.
Big one. Isiah Kiner-Falefa, a Gold Glover, a lifetime Ranger, is headed to the Bronx. A big three-team trade. Yankees get Josh Donaldson and Isiah Kiner-Falefa. It was technically a two-team trade, but, you know, Isiah Kiner-Falefa was a Twin for about a second. This was the deal. This is what it looks like. Josh Donaldson,
I
Isiah
never thought he
Kiner-Falefa.
was a fit with the Twins. And so
Who's that, Donaldson?
No, Kiner-Falefa.
Okay.
So for them to flip him did not surprise me.
He was there for a hot second. And Gary Sanchez and Gio Ushela, Yankee stalwarts.
This guy changed the whole direction of the Yankee season.
Which guy? Actually, neither one of them changed direction of the Yankee season. That might be among the reasons why they're now Minnesota Twins. Joel Sherman leading the league in information. There have been different reactions to this trade, Joel. A lot of Yankee fans are confused. They think that Josh Donaldson, though a former MVP, that was 7 years ago. They like Gio Ushela's versatility, Sanchez's power. How do you explain this deal first from a Yankee perspective?
Yeah, first of all, it's great to be talking to you from a spring training site. As you can see, I'm in Met Camp here from what's behind me. But we're talking the Yankees first here. So I would think of it as this way, Matt. The price to get what they wanted to trade out of, which is bad defense up the middle and what had kind of become stale. They were good enough to make the playoffs, but they were very right-handed, not athletic, bad defensively up the middle. And they knew by the end of last season they couldn't keep shoving a non-shortstop at shortstop. It was Gleyber Torres last year. It was going to be Gio Ushela this year. And they couldn't keep going through the internal drama. And it was drama, and I thought it hurt them kind of psychologically besides behind the plate of, hey, it's Gary Sanchez, it's Gary Sanchez. So they moved this on from Ushela and Sanchez. The price is not insignificant. Josh Donaldson cost $50 million over the next 2 years for them. But they get a defensive catcher in Ben Rortvedt, a left-hand hitter, not much of a hitter, but a very good defender to pair with Kyle Higashioka. Is that enough to cover 160 games? Will they have to fix that further? And Kiner-Falefa is a placeholder who could, the question is he also a third baseman masquerading as a shortstop a little? But he's certainly better than what the Yankees would have had. And the idea is he's there to serve as a stopgap until one of their two prospects, Oswald Peraza or Anthony Volpe, come along. They clearly signaled what we all kind of knew. They're not going to do Carlos Correa. But the question is now, do they finish this off by going and getting a left-hand hitting first baseman who's good on both sides of the ball? Obviously, the top of that is Freddie Freeman. I think most people in the industry still think he either ends up a Brave or goes home to his hometown to play for the Dodgers. But the Yankees are at least on the periphery. Do they trade for Matt Olson? I still think the most likely endgame there is a reunion with Anthony Rizzo. And look, we shouldn't forget what this means for the Minnesota Twins. They're making a trade here also. And besides Ushela and Sanchez, they think Sanchez outside of New York, outside of that pressure cooker, that maybe they get that offensive player back again to pair with Ryan Jeffers as their catching platoon. They believe in Luis Araz as a third baseman to replace Donaldson. But more importantly, they get out of the $50 million they owe Donaldson. They just saw it as too much risk for that player who's had a lot of injuries the last few years to his lower half. And now how do they spin that money? You know, there's kind of an information superhighway in baseball. And as soon as this trade was made last night, I got multiple texts from executives that were like, I'll put some money on Trevor Story ending up at shortstop for the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, boy. So all the shoes haven't fallen as a result of this. What was your reaction? I mean, I could ask you from which team's perspective do you want to speak of?
Obviously, the Yankees are the first thing that come to mind for you. I thought it was time for Sanchez to go. I thought that should have happened 2 years ago, Joel. I mean, that's just the way it was. It was just not working for him or the team, and they kept forcing that issue. So I think that was big for him to get out, and we'll see what happens. But I can see him even being moved off a catcher.
I know from the Twins' perspective, we do have more on them a little bit later on. Sonny Gray, among the pitching ads that they've made, and there have been some pitching ads that we'll talk about with Joel moving forward. I was checking right as we went on the air to see if MLBshop.com had discounted any of the Gary Sanchez and Gio Ushela merchandise.
And did they?
And they have.
I bought this.
Well, not on discount, though. That's not a player specific. That's hot though.
It's hot, isn't
Look
it?
at you, yeah. Yankee fan all of a sudden.
Yankee day.
Okay.
Well, it was Yankee day.
But you get a Gary Sanchez bobblehead marked down from $34.99 to $25.99 now.
That's going to go even lower.
Okay, you're advocating to hang on. What do you make of this deal? You talked about it from the Yankees' perspective. Mm-hmm. What about from the Twins side? They still have a ton of work to do, man. I mean, yes, Sonny Gray addition was big. That was nice. They've got a power hitting catcher now. I mean, and they've made themselves better than last year's team, but last year's team stunk.
Well, they did. But the year before, they were in the postseason. So they still got some work to do. Buxton's going to come back and hopefully be healthy all year.
Huge.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's a huge player right there. I think Gio's going to help them because he can play so many different places. We actually have a statement from Gio. We'll go to that real quick, and then I want to break down. Here's what Gio. I was told earlier by Ray Negron, who's been working community relations with the Yankees forever. This is the best player he ever had in the community.
Yeah, everybody loved him. He was
Great
loved.
guy.
I want to take this time to thank all the great Yankee fans who made my time there great. I especially want to thank the children of the Bronx, who I had a very special relationship with. I will miss them very much.
I really, truly believe that.
Yeah,
we do too.
Gio's a great guy. But I do want to stay a little bit on the Yankees. I want to talk about Kiner-Falefa because so many people don't know. Obviously, he's a Gold Glover, but how will this affect the Yankees? I think it's important to realize that you got a guy that's going to catch the ball. You know, so the biggest thing to me, this guy catches everything hit his way. I do think the versatility allows him, if they want to make a move with him later, to do different things. He's played all over the diamond, he even caught when he broke in. So this is more for the Yankee fans. He can go to the right, he can go to the left. He's got a nice arm. He can do a lot of different things for you. But the biggest thing for me is he's going to catch the ball. So often did we struggle watching the Yankees play shortstop the last few years. Does he have power? Here's a home run against the Red Sox, which I thought was important. But here's what he does. He shoots the ball over the diamond. With a team that swings and misses as much as they do, it's important to have another guy like that because now you got him and you got DJ LeMahieu that can shoot the ball over the place and they're putting the ball in play, which I think is important. And then the most important part for me, it leaves that guy, Gleyber Torres, at second base. When he plays second, he's one of the best in baseball. But when he played short, he was a mess. So I think that allows him to settle in, play second, be the all-star player that he is. So this does a couple things for the Yankees.
Was it that simple with Gleyber that he wasn't comfortable at shortstop? So hopefully the fixes get him back to second base and he turns into 2018 Gleyber?
Yeah, you overthink.
Yeah.
You want a guy to just not think about your defense, go out and be able to play. And it was all about comfort for me. Just watching him, he did not look comfortable.
Got it.
He's a better player at second.
I play second base.